Bill O'Reilly, anchor of the No Spin News, author of Confronting Evil, host of the We'll Do It Live podcast. Bill, a lot of people right now are talking about what Trump should do to Iran. Turn it around on you. What should Trump demand Iran does? Not what they say, what they do before stopping strikes and agreeing to a ceasefire.
It's the same thing he wanted at the end of January, early February. You let the weapons inspectors in to monitor your uranium enrichment, and you leave the Strait of Hormuz alone. That's it. There's no terror component to it. There's no leave the UAE alone, don't do anything in Israel, none of that. It's down to two things. Now, the problem for President Trump is that the American people aren't backing him the way they usually do, in the MAGA forces anyway, because of high costs of gasoline and food. So he doesn't have that popular opinion. Most Americans know what the president did was the right thing to do. I mean, you don't let a terrorist state develop a nuclear weapon unless you're ready to violate the Treaty of Versailles and have a guy with a small mustache take over Europe, okay? And at that point in history, the Europeans and America were willing to do that. Well, Trump is not. So right now, it's impossible to ascertain what's really happening because we don't have any reporters on the ground. We don't know. Now, there is a blockade back.
We got three American body bags, Bill, to know what's happening.
Okay. You got 3 American body bags. What does that mean in the big picture?
It means that Iran
doesn't mean anything.
We know the Strait of Hormuz is not open. We know that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard is still very much in charge. We know that their military capabilities are such that they can defeat U.S. air defenses. We know that they can attack Kuwait and Qatar at will. And we know they can close the Strait of Hormuz and raise the price of gas. We can ascertain a lot of what's going on.
Well, I don't think it's that cut and dried at all. You can get ships through Hormuz. It's risky, and the insurance companies don't want to do it, but you can get them through. And the casualties, the KIAs, they are to be saluted. But what else? What are you going to say? You're fighting people who are desperate, and they're going to try to kill you. That's what war is.
You think they're really that desperate, though?
We don't know. Yeah, I think they're desperate. We don't know, we Americans. We don't know the extent
if they're so
of
desperate,
the economic
Bill,
damage.
If they're so desperate, why aren't they agreeing to a deal that was a sweetheart deal? They're raising the stakes. They're the ones lashing out. They're the ones not living up to just basic commitments, and we're supposed to believe they're the ones who are desperate?
Well, I'll answer that question with a history question. Why didn't the Nazis withdraw from Stalingrad when everybody knew they were losing and it was going to be a tide turn on the war? Some people are crazy. Mullahs are in that category.
Okay.
And they're going to stick it out for whatever propaganda reason.
Right.
But we, the people, do not know the extent of the pain that the Persian people are experiencing.
And what's that have to do with the price of tea?
Don't know. What was that?
A couple of things about that. If you want to compare the mullahs to the Nazis, I think it's very apt. Roosevelt demanded unconditional surrender. Eisenhower knew that this would be a fight until Hitler killed himself. There was no negotiation. There was no trying to make a deal with the Nazis for the very reasons you just laid out.
But the American public was willing to accept hundreds of thousands of casualties. And in our country, we are not willing to accept any casualties. That's the difference. And that makes it very difficult for a president to wage any kind of conflict. So he is almost trapped in what he can do. I'd like to know this blockade of the Iranian ports by American warships. what effect that has on the regular people. I would love to know.
You think the mullahs
that.
care what's
I
happening to
don't
the
know.
people?
Doesn't matter to me, because the people themselves have to eat. And I don't know it, and no pundit knows it, and no reporter knows it, because nobody is allowed into the country to assess it.
Okay.
So we don't know.
So again,
And
but
that
what does that
makes
have
it
to do with the price
really
of tea
difficult.
in China? You think the Iranian
What
people are
it
going
has
to rise
to do
up?
is, I don't know. No, I don't think they will, because
So why
they're
does it
afraid.
matter whether? Why does it matter what their economic condition is?
Well, because if they're starving, they'll have to. Then it becomes life and death. You got to feed your 3-year-old. That's why. And that's one of our strategies right now. We're not going to kill the people in Tehran directly with bombs. We're going to make it so difficult for them to function day to day, they'll demand that the mullahs stop the madness. Now, do I know what's going to happen? No. But I do know that the president has shrinking options, which brings me back to my initial analysis, the biggest gamble of his life. Okay? Because you don't know. Look, nobody knew that Mao Zedong killed 10 million of his own people. No one knew that, because there wasn't any reporting about it. It was impossible to get dispatches out of China. So when finally, years later, people discovered how the communists took over, it was terrifying, but the moment had passed. And so now we're in a position where the Iranians, and I'll address the Cuomo show, the reason the Pentagon doesn't want to banner American casualties is to give the mullahs a propaganda victory. That's why.
Well, hold on, Bill. You can't have it both
ways,
right?
They don't want to pry it out.
Well, they also don't want it out because they don't want the issue in the United States. You just said the American people won't accept casualties. The Pentagon can't, to your point, you're making your own point, the Pentagon also can't, from a domestic political perspective in the United States, when only 30% of Americans support the war, talk about how good the Iranian military is and and the damage it's causing. And it's perplexing to me why President Trump has so oversold the damage to the Iranian military. Take a listen.
Iran is in a very bad position. They have no military. Iran has no navy. They have no air force. They have very few soldiers.
Their military has been totally wiped out. Their leadership has been wiped out. Their radar has been wiped out. Everything's been wiped out.
They have a little capability, but they don't have any capability for us.
We've taken away all of their, almost all of their military capability. They've got very little left. They've got some missiles. They've got some drones. They've got some manufacturing ability, not much.
He's going to have to meet the families at Dover after saying the Iranian military is wiped out.
Well, hyperbole is part of every war. Every war that's ever existed. You're going to have one side say one thing and the other side say the other thing. So President Trump is trying to rally the American people to his cause. That's what he's trying to do. And we don't know what the situation is, how frustrating that is. It's crazy frustrating, particularly if you're in the honest reporting business. Unfortunately, most media corporations in America are not in that business. They want to see Trump lose this. They want the mullahs to win.
The Pentagon did throw all the reporters out, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
the Pentagon is, look, they're not, look, from the very beginning, I questioned the appointment of the Secretary of War. Okay, I didn't think he had the experience. I did not think that he was able to run an enormous bureaucracy around the world, and I have been proven correct. I'm not going to cheap shot him because I don't know what Mr. Hesketh is told to do or why he's told to do it. So for me to cheap shot the man would be ridiculous because I'm not privy to that. But certainly they don't want, they being the military, to put a loser label on this conflict. Come on, you've been around. Nobody's going to brand themselves a loser
No,
and that's why they're holding back the information. They're holding back bad information.
Right. That didn't work out very well for the U.S. It didn't work out very well for the U.S. military or for the president, that matter, during Vietnam, did it?
No, because it was a totally different situation there. You had a army, a military that didn't want to be there. It was a draftee army. And so you had this turbulence within the Corps. You don't have that now. What you have now is decision-making, and the American people don't understand what the decision-making is based on. We just don't have the data. We had the data in Vietnam. You could see the guys coming back from the battlefield there. I saw them in my neighborhood. Yep. It was devastating. Okay? You don't see that now. You don't know now. And I'm praying, literally, that the mullahs collapse, that the Persians say enough and overthrow them like they did to Shah. But that's going to take courage, Leland. It's going to take a lot of courage to overthrow the Revolutionary Guard. And right now, the Persian people don't have it.
Well, one place to place blame, I understand. Bill, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.